Hey friends, welcome back to Learning Made Fun, your ultimate destination for IT training content. Today, get ready to learn how to create a database in SQL Server. Now, whether you're a newcomer or a long-time subscriber, I've got some exciting and informative content lined up just for you. Grab those snacks, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right into it, my friends. Friends, so today we're going to be working inside of SQL Server, specifically inside of the ssms, the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. And first off, if you look on the left-hand corner, I see that I can connect to a database and I can also disconnect. So I just disconnected and we're going to go ahead and connect. Here we have our, I can enter either the host name or the IP address of where this server is located. Additionally, I can authenticate with the SA account or a Windows authentication. For today's training, we're going to be working with the SA account. I'm going to go ahead and enter my password. And we're now logged into, let's go to the properties. We're logged into a Microsoft SQL Server Express on a Ubuntu server. And on our databases on the left-hand side, looks like I already have a couple here from previous trainings. So we're going to learn to make a brand new database two different ways. The first way we're going to do it is we're going to right mouse button click and say New Database. And we're going to call this one Training. Let's say OK. Let's try that again. Training. Let's do Training 2. Since I already have one in there, it won't let you have two databases with the exact same name. So how about New Training? So I know. And now, if we expand that and go to our tables, there's no tables in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to bring a CSV file or a text file and bring that information into our new database. So we're going to go to Tasks. We're going to say Import Flat File. We have this little wizard. I'm going to go browse for that file. And here I have something called Music Hits. This is a TXT file, a text document. And I'm going to say Open. Make sure that it is set to our DBO schema. Here's the name of it. We can change it or just leave it alone. Say New. This gives you a preview of the data. Looks like we're going to have 3 columns: album name, artist name, and the year of that album. Now we could also add a primary key or say allow nulls. For our training today, I'm just going to leave this alone. And let's import that. And this was successful. If it fails, make sure that you open the message and read it. And the messages are actually pretty good at pointing out what the problem is. So now let's go and refresh. Open up our new training database. And here's our table. We're going to go ahead and say select top 1000 rows. And here's the information that we brought in from that TXT file. So I had a out of the box select the top 1000 from our database or DBO. And I could also filter it. I can say select top 1000 from our new training. Let's see, where year equals, let's say 1984. 1984. And now I'm only looking at a selection of the data from 1984. If we go back to it, we got 1982, 1985, 1980, Let's change that year to 1996. 1986, sorry. All right, so now we got a different, and I could also sort it alphabetically. So let's just say order by artist name. Or I could just go down and select it once it comes up to the list with IntelliSense. And here I want to do ascending. And now I got this by ascending. I could also say descending. Oh, that didn't do it. Artist name, descending. Here we are. And now my down is on the top. But if I say ascending, now notice right here, the B should be on the top, and you're looking at Paul Young up here. The reason why that's there, not the first one, looks like there's a problem with the data. There's actually a pipe that's in there, so we'd have to go in and fix that pipe so that the P would be put back in order. But it recognizes that, and that's why Paul is showing up before Bon. So let's go ahead and change it to descending, and that shouldn't be a factor anymore. Okay, so now that's one way of getting the information in here. Another way is we can actually, well, let's do it the next way. We're going to say, oops, new database, and we call that one new training. So we're going to say new training 2. And then let's create a new query. So that new training database that I just created, I did it by right mouse button clicking and saying new, but I could have also just done a query in here. I could have just said create database new training 3, for example. Highlight that, execute it. So now if I refresh, I have new training 2, and new training 3. So there's actually a couple of different ways to do that. So we're going to create a new table manually. So let's do this. I already have a quick query prepared. We're going to create a table inside of new training 3. I'm going to call it LeanSQL table. And then I'm going to say my ID is going to be one column. That's going to be an integer. It'll also be my primary key. My second column is going to be name with varchar, and I don't want any more than 50. And notice we have a comma after each one. Age is a number, so we'll do integer. And city, just like name, is going to be varchar 30. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this query. And now if we go inside of new training 3, let me refresh. There it is. There's our LeanSQL table. Now if I tell it to select, I see the rows, but I don't see the columns, I'm sorry, but I don't see any data. So notice how this is just taking a little bit longer than using the wizard or importing it that way. So now let's actually go and insert some data in here. And because I have ID, name, age, and city, let's turn this into a semicolon. And now we're going to insert that into the LeanSQL table database. All right, so now let's go and do the same thing we did before. Select top 1000 rows, but this time we have data inside of there, and we had to do it via a query. So, but just like before, we could even dig in a little bit deeper. So I could say, I want everything where the city is equal to, let's see, I don't know, Dallas. Oops. And then I want to sort order by age on that age column, even though I think there's only one Dallas, but let's see what happens. And then I want that one to be in ascending order. Great, so because I only had one entry for Dallas, that's all it showed me. Now let's see if there's one that's got multiple. Doesn't look like it. Dallas, Boston, Seattle, Miami. Nope. How about age? Let's remove that. And let's order by. Okay. So here we're ordering everything by the age in ascending order, just like we did before. And it looks like each one of these is unique. So there's the two ways of creating a database. One, we just imported a flat file. In our case, we had a txt file. Or the second way is we actually used queries to not only create the table in the database, but also to insert the data. Great, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining today.